Testing. So we will go ahead and call to order this evening's meeting of the Colton Joint Unified School District Board of Education. Board of Education for this evening, October 7th, 2021. We will start our meeting with Medina to please call attendance.
Mr. Ibarra,
Present.
Mrs. Haro. Here. Mr. Flores,
Present.
Ms. Doreen Ojeda.
Here.
Mrs. Sandoval.
Here.
Mr. Fuentes,
Present.
Ms. Adigui.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mrs. Medina. And we will open, as we do every meeting, with the Pledge of Allegiance. And would like to ask Mr. Garcia, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Garcia. We do have Spanish language interpretive services available for any members of the audience that would like Spanish language services. Tonight we have with us Ms. Cynthia Bueno from our administration, from our district office, I should say, to provide supportive services. Ms. Bueno.
Thank you, Mr. Flores, and good evening. Muy buenas tardes a todos. Yo soy Cynthia Bueno, soy traductora e intérprete para el distrito. Esta noche tengo mi asiento atrás, tengo los dispositivos si gustan solicitar uno y pueden escuchar la reunión en español mientras ellos la dicen en inglés. Igualmente, si quieren que les interprete de español a inglés o de inglés a español, también les puedo ayudar. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Mrs. Bueno. Our first order of business is the adoption of the agenda, item 1.3. We do have some recommended amendments to tonight's agenda. There's a recommendation to amend closed session item 8.3, which is our personnel public employee appointment item. The request to add volunteers. And one at Sycamore Hills. These are elementary schools. Mr. Superintendent, are there any other recommended amendments to this evening's agenda? All right. So I will ask if there's a motion and a second to approve the changes to the agenda.
Second that.
All right. Have a board member, having a motion from board member Haro, second by board member Fuentes. Since we're all live and present, we can do our traditional roll. We can do our traditional vote. So I will simply ask all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, it is approved unanimously. And again, I want to thank everybody for being here. This is our first meeting in quite some time having the entire board here present. We are practicing preach here, as you can see with our masks and our shields. But it's nice to see everybody's face. I just wanted to say that, and I appreciate everybody making the effort to be here. So, our school showcase for today, our Colton High School Yellow Jackets are here. I see our principal, Murphy. And so, didn't know, Ms. Murphy, you wanted to introduce our students or just have our student leaders come up and lead the charge on today's school showcase? All right, absolutely. Please come on up and introduce yourselves.
Good evening, Board President Flores, members of the board, Superintendent Miranda, and Executive Cabinet. My name is Joseph Duran, and I am your ASB President for Colton High School.
My name is Daniela Garcia, and I am the Renaissance President.
We are here today to show you a video that we have prepared to show some events we have done on campus and some future events we plan to hold.
Registration is held July 23rd to July 28th. I hope it feels so great to be back in school in person. We also wanted to give a little shout out to Lean Crew for giving tours to our freshmen and sophomores this year. Have a great day!
Hello, my name is Stephanie Gomez. I'm a senior at Colton High School, and today I'll be talking about the senior class event. The event was a form of bonding and also a way to start off the new school year as it's our last year in high school. During this event, we made time capsules that will be open at the end of the year. We also created different photo booths so we could take pictures and create more memories. We also served bagels and donuts with other drinks to our senior class, and overall it was just an event to show how much we loved our senior class, and we're very excited for this new school year since we haven't seen each other in over a year.
Leadership Synergy was September 9th. That's when all leadership groups here at Colton High School, Lean Crew, Renaissance, and ASB got together to build the trust, the bond, and friendship before the new year starts. The grade A start off the school with first-time activities set by ASB, such as games and music. It also included daily lessons to uplift emotional. Also included some such as Hawaiian Day, Sports Day, Tie-Dye Day, and 2 CJUSD fairs, as well as other days.
So hi, my name's Jay. I'm with ASB, and I'm going to explain to you what powder puff football is and what you do. So basically, powder puff football is when the boys football team sideline coaches the girls and lets them know what to do, what quarterback is, what stuff like that is. Our first information meeting for powder puff football is going to be on 8/24. Our first game for powder puff is going to be the week of homecoming, so the 28th.
Hi, my name is Bella, and I'm a part of the Colton High School ASB. The blood drive hosted by Hill and Livestream was on September 15th. Over 100 people came and donated blood to the event, which is really beneficial for the community since donating blood can save many lives. If you missed the chance to donate blood, Renaissance will be hosting a blood drive on November 16th with Livestream.
On August 28th, we had It's Our Sweet to Be Back rally. We had it next to the MAC gym on the basketball courts. During the rally, we presented our fall sports and also had performances from cheer and band. Leading up to the rally, we had a spirit week based off of our sweets theme. To get students involved in the rally, we played games such as a cup stacking game and musical chairs, and the winners received food gift cards.
Hi, my name is Zelani Perez, and I'm a part of Colton High School's ASB. I will be speaking about our upcoming Cocoa Dance after COVID. Our Cocoa Dance will be on October 30th from 7 to 11 p.m. There will be drinks, food, and much more. Get your Greek on!
Hey, I just want to remind you guys that the purpose of Club Rush is our goal to get as many students involved as possible. Some of our main clubs you have are Gaming Club, NJROTC Club, Dance Club, Border Club, Eco-Friendly Friends Club. Some of our sports we have is baseball, football, soccer, swim, and many more.
a part of Colton High School ASD. Alejandro and I will be talking about Student and Staff of the Month awards. Renaissance will be sending out monthly surveys to get the nominees for Student and Staff of the Month. Students will receive the certificate and the Special Student of the Month will receive the lanyard. Staff will also be celebrated through posters and other goodies. Have a nice day!
One event that we had on campus this year was a freshman sophomore block, lesson 6A. Due to things going on this year, we try to include everybody new to campus. It was the second week of school, and we had music and games and free food and drinks.
Hi, board members. My name is Varsity, and I'm a member of the volleyball team as well as a member of the ASB. And we have had many games going on. Our current stats for Varsity are 4-8 and 8 Our next game will be today at Arroyo Valley High School, and we are only going to have 2 more games left to go. We are practicing and playing hard to make sure that our last games are going to be great. We're also very, very thankful to have the support of the school, ASB, and the AD to help us do that. ASB comes live before every home game and sets up amazing banners, balloons, and posters to get the school's spirit going, and it's definitely effective. We also have a lot of students come by to support because of our school's social media pages that help promote, and also the school's morning announcements. We not only have these decorations at volleyball games, but we also have them at football and tennis games, so you can rest assured knowing that we will have the school looking great, and you can expect us to look amazing at every Colton event, and that Colton ASB is going to do the best job we possibly can.
Good morning. Today we're going to be discussing the sports highlights of this day. First one, we had over 800 athletes show up, which is 29 schools that attended, including from all over, including LA County. For football, our football's current record is currently 4-1, with our recent win against Montana High School, which was 35-6. Our Frosh also got their first win against Montana High. Tennis is also doing really well. We got a recent win against Liberty High School with the score of 13-5.
Hi, my name is Karen Gallegos and I'm an ASB representative. The ICC Intercom Council meeting starts on October 19th in Period 2. Representatives from all clubs and sports come to the meeting to share information. This is an informative meeting. This helps connect all the clubs and sports. Thank you.
Yes, we hope we have a successful year. Are there any questions for us?
Any questions from board members? Comments? Yeah, please, Mr. Fuentes.
Awesome. Just thank you for coming out. That's a great presentation. Hive Nation, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. I thank you for all the activities you guys have been doing. It sounds like you guys are having a lot of fun. And I wish I was back in high school again. So thank you again for coming out. And remember, go Yellow Jackets, go.
Any other questions, comments? Yeah, Ms. Adegin, please.
Thank you, Joseph and Daniela, for your presentation. What I really liked about your presentation is that it painted school with your spirit days, and your school spirit overall is through the roof. So I really appreciate that you shared that with us because it's very important. I also like the fact that you have so many activities for everybody, and you try to include everybody, regardless whether it's art, whether it's whatever the interest is for the students, you offer something for everybody. And also the number of leadership roles that you have at every level, like freshmen or juniors and seniors. So you make a very, very good presentation, and you include everybody. So for that, thank you, and I wish you the best, and I'm looking forward to your next report when you come back and report what you've done so far. So thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Adegin. Other comments, questions from board members? Well, I'll simply add that we appreciate the presentation. It's exciting to see all the different activities that are taking place. I can tell you there's a lot more happening on a high school campus than certainly when I was there at Colton High. The diversity of clubs and organizations from not just a sports standpoint or the traditional clubs that have been there for a long time, but you love to see clubs that are oriented towards culture, towards particular interests, the arts. I mean, the diversity of the clubs, I hope is a great reflection of that diversity of interests on campus and giving all kinds of students a chance to be leaders in a variety of ways. I think that's very cool. So great job. We appreciate the presentation and we look forward to seeing you guys later on in the year.
Thank you. We also hope to have a successful home football game tonight where we will be honoring our veterans. Thank you again for having us.
Great. This takes us to our public comment portion of tonight's meeting. We do have a number of public comment speakers. Just a reminder to all speakers that we'd ask that you stay within the 3 minutes that you have for comments. If you do not finish your comments in 3 minutes, however, and if you do have them written down, we'd encourage you to give a copy of that to Ms. Medina. She'll make sure that the board members get a complete copy of your statements. So that's always an option as well. We'll start our public comments with Ms. Georgette Villarreal.
Members of the Executive Cabinet. My name is Georgette Villarreal, and I am the RSP teacher at Zimmerman Elementary. Tonight, I am requesting you reconsider the practice of assigning assistant principals to 2 elementary school sites. I respectfully ask that you return Nari Gavaris to her full-time appointment at Zimmerman and hire a full-time AP for Crestmore. As of this morning, it did not appear that hiring a new assistant principal is a district priority. While the district recently hired a few new APs, there are no new job postings for Zimmerman or Crestmore's position on EdJoin. I am aware that the decision to split an administrator's time is an unfortunate reality in our current climate. Student enrollment district-wide has decreased. Consequences of COVID-19 have no doubt changed the candidate pool, and the cost of hiring new administrators is expensive during a time when there is understandable concerns about funding. However, my Zimmerman colleagues and I are here to explain to you that the decision to provide our site with a half-time assistant principal is ineffective and extremely costly in terms of school culture, staff development, and student and community relationships, and overall morale. At Zimmerman, we were just beginning to develop our culture and practices under our new administrative leadership team when the pandemic forced us to operate under distance learning. I cannot emphasize enough how effective our administrative team was when they were allowed to work together as a team. They had time to address both leadership and day-to-day managerial duties. As a site, we were excited and ready to resume in-person learning so that we could fully develop our school's culture and build our capacity to support our students' academic success. We were discouraged when we learned that our AP was going to be split between our site and Crestmore. And we have tried to remain positive team players, but the realities of the situation have made it impossible for us to remain silent. At present, Mrs. Gavaris is on site only 2 to 3 days a week, and the majority of that time is spent in IEP and SST meetings. These meetings are critical and meet the legal and educational needs of our special education and struggling students, but they leave little time to attend to the other needs on our campus. Dividing her time puts Mrs. Gavaris in an impossible position that negatively impacts the staff and students at not just 1, but 2 school sites. We need our administrative team working collaboratively on a daily basis to realize the vision that we have for our students, our staff, and our teachers to grow and develop as a site as an essential element in CJUSD's vision of being a top-performing education system. Please support Zimmerman and CJUSD by supporting us in continuing to post AP positions and hiring highly qualified individuals until every elementary site has their own full-time assistant principal. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you for that. Our next public speaker is Ms. Christina Cabrera.
Good evening, members of the board, superintendent, and members of the executive cabinet. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight regarding staffing. As a Zimmerman speech language pathologist, I work directly with Assistant Principal Nari Gavaris in holding IEP meetings for Zimmerman students and families. We held 19 IEP meetings, which accounted for roughly 32% Nari's part-time status at Zimmerman. The Zimmerman staff, including myself, have concerns that the vision statement recently adopted by the board cannot be successfully implemented without basic foundations such as a permanent assistant principal who will be available to assist teachers on learning loss interventions, conduct student study team meetings, supervise students, aid in data analysis of curricular programs, and much more as listed in the elementary assistant principal job description. If the board is serious about their dedication to the education of our students and committed to ensuring all students receive what they need when they need it, as written in the vision statement, I ask that you revisit the ethical decision of splitting assistant principal positions and provide school sites with full-time assistant principals. Our Zimmerman staff, students, and families deserve the support of a full-time school site administrative team. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ms. Wendy Decker.
Good evening. My name is Wendy Decker, and this is my 24th year at Zimmerman and as a CJUSD employee. I have always been a proud member of the Colton Joint Unified School District because I believe that CJUSD truly does want what is best for our students. But I'm here today with my colleagues to ask that the leadership team at Zimmerman be reinstated. Colton often has positions that are shared between two sites: school psychologists, school counselors, speech and language therapists, and the need to share these positions is usually dependent upon student enrollment. However, this year CJUSD has decided to split our AP's time between two schools, and many of us are left wondering why. Why is it that some schools have a full-time AP while others share? Is it that Zimmerman is less important than other schools, less valued? Why is it that the district is asking 3 people, the principals at Zimmerman and Crestmore and Ms. Guevara, to do the job of 4? Is it that the district does not value or understand what it takes to run a school as an administrator? Is it that they don't realize the tremendous strain and undue stress that is being put on these administrators? This year's come with many obstacles. At Zimmerman, we have students who have lost parents, uncles, aunts, grandparents. We have staff members out on stress leave. We have unfilled noon aid positions. We are short subs. We are short a health office assistant. And on top of that, we get Mrs. Guevara 2, maybe 3 times a week. If you asked my students who she was, they wouldn't know. We've seen her maybe once or twice. When Mrs. Guevara is not there, Mrs. Nunez-Vargas is being left to manage the school rather than lead it. When Mrs. Guevara is there, she is spending her time catching up on her many job duties. Our leadership team is not intact and is not able to lead our school, our staff, our students in the way that they once could. This is not the year to be taking shortcuts, cutting corners, and leaving your administrators, their staff, and the students to attempt to survive the year, because that's what it feels like we're doing. This is the year to catch up academically, to catch up socially, and to catch up emotionally. But how can we do that when we feel our school is incomplete? When the students or teachers need additional support from our administration, many of us are left trying to just deal with it on our own. We know Mrs. Nunez-Vargas is too busy doing her job, her AP's job, playing health assistant or counselor to a student in need, covering morning duties, or whatever other random position she's left to fill. When Mrs. Guevara is there, we know that she is too busy catching up on her normal duties, which have not changed despite the fact that she is there half the time. Our school and our community need our leaders, both of them. Please show our administration, our staff, our students, and our community that you care first and foremost about our Zimmerman kids. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Our next speaker is Mr. Fred Ayo.
Good evening. First of all, thank you for all your commitment to our communities. It's really important and appreciated. And thank you for listening to us this evening. I would just like to leave you with an analogy comparing our education system to that of a bicycle. Our education system has a path set forward given to us by state and district guidelines. That path, as you know, is very challenging these days with all that goes with it. As the bike goes along this path, the front wheel, our principal, is there to guide that bike along the way. The back wheel is the vice principal, there to take that stress along with the principal. The teachers are the pedals, constantly driving that bike forward. The handlebars are kind of just going whichever way that bike is kind of being led. The seat is where our kids rest upon and are along for the ride. As physics tells us, anytime a machine is missing a critical, vital component, the rest of the parts take on that stress. So when the back tire of a bike is missing, yes, the bike is going to still go along that path as best as it can, but we know that those parts are going to be stressed. I just want to share one final thought with you. Our district behavior expectations remind me that when it comes to our kids and our staff and our community, I ask, are we being responsible to our children and our staff? Are we being respectful to our children and our staff? Are we making sure that they're safe mentally, physically, and emotionally? And like I tell my children every morning, when you know what's right and you do what's right, that's integrity. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Our next public speaker is Ms. Michelle Sapino.
Sorry, I'm not as tall as everyone else. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Michelle Sabino. I was a former employee of Colton Unified District back in 2008. I'm a speech language pathologist. My area of expertise is with children who are birth to 5, who have severe autism, who are nonverbal. I had previously was working on my PhD, and in my studies, I was looking at the gut-brain connection of children. During my studies, I lost my first child, and a year later to the date, I ended up expecting my second child. At 2 months of age, we went for her first well visit, in which she was given her first and only vaccine. We didn't do any at birth. We didn't do Hep B. My child at birth was not an IV drug user, nor was she sexually promiscuous, and so I didn't feel it was a valid vaccine to give at the time, but being fully vaccinated myself, we decided we would start inoculating at 2 months of age. Following her vaccination, she went into full body flexion and she suffered 16 seizures. This is my daughter at 2 months of age. I took a health course class. I realized that I needed to make sure that my child stayed healthy. And so I've done everything that I'm supposed to under the sun. I did my due diligence. I started vaccinating and I harmed her. After 2 years of studies, after looking at birth history, after looking at genetic load, we have autoimmune issues on both sides of the family. My mom was diagnosed at 40, my sister at 18. On my husband's side, it runs rampant. I didn't know. I wasn't given informed consent. I wasn't told I should not vaccinate my daughter, that it could harm her. I can't undo what I did to her. As they looked further at our family history, I was given Tdap while working on my PhD, which caused me to lose my first child. I cannot get that child back. The governor has stated there will be a vaccine mandate that will come down on all school districts. And while I understand this is a contentious issue, and I understand that every single board has had to make the best decision for their schools to remain open, let me say this. San Bernardino County is 70% people of color. Your district is 75 to 80%. San Bernardino County has 40% living 200% below the poverty line. Your families do not have the luxury of homeschooling. Your families do not have the luxury of leaving this state. They have to make the choice of whether or not they will put an experimental vaccine in their child in order to continue to put a roof over their head, food on the table, and you and I know, my family's been living in San Bernardino for 130 years. I've found nonprofits to support students. I'm sorry, but their children, we have older siblings who have to sacrifice their education to support those kids. So I just ask you to please do your due diligence to do whatever you need to do to protect the people that you purport to be supporting in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And our next speaker is Miss Lisa Villa.
Hello, everyone. I'm here once again to try and help get my alma mater back to its glory once again, the way it was back when I went to school. And I'd just like to make a comment to Mr. Flores. You made a comment that there's a whole lot more now than there was when you went there, and that is not true. They are not getting half of what we got when we went to Colton High, and I see that daily. I initially was exclusively trying to achieve this, helping our alma mater get back to its glory by helping in any way possible, by promoting Colton Pride, volunteering my time, money, and effort with my Colton Pride Club, offering my assistance in every way possible to help Colton High. I also used all my networking, my resources within the city of Colton to help be supportive of Colton High. I tried to be supportive and look the other way when I saw the below basics that our Yellow Jackets receive year after year. I would reach out to board members and ask them to help our Yellow Jackets get at least the basics, but to no avail. The board members have continuously let our Yellow Jackets down and go without. No matter how many complaints they receive, nothing changes. Now that I realize that just helping and looking the other way is not making everything better for our Yellow Jackets, it's actually enabling the district leadership to continuously let our Yellow Jackets down. Today's topic is why our varsity football game procedures on Friday nights are not the same across the board between Colton, Bloomington, and GT. Colton High seems to use COVID as an excuse not to do anything extra for our Yellow Jackets. Why is Colton Snack Bar not allowed to sell any hot food like the other schools? Why is there only one food vendor only for a limited time, and we are not allowed to come in and out after we purchase the food? Why is the vendor not inside like the other schools? Why is the Colton Middle School students not allowed to come to the Colton High varsity games unless they have a guardian? Why is the Colton High administration at the football games there in a negative fashion? The other schools, their administration are there conversing, laughing, and talking amongst the students and the communities, while the spectators are slowly leaving the football game. Colton is always told to leave and they hurry us out. They have even turned off the lights on us, and we are still sitting and gathering our belongings for the game. This is unsafe for us to be walking in complete darkness just because they are in a hurry to get us out. What is the rush? Just because they don't want to be there and they want to go home. There have been a couple of games away and at home where we did not see an administrator. I don't consider the athletic director an administrator. What is the reason that we have leaders that put very little effort into our Yellow Jackets? They look for reasons to not create a positive environment. My children, grandchildren, family, and friends deserve people that care about their success. It is the parents and community that voted the board members because we believed you cared about our children, but it is clear to us that you don't. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Villa. Are there any other speaker slips, Ms. Medina? All right. Hearing none, then that will conclude public comment for this evening's meeting. Thank you. And that takes us to our action session items for tonight's meeting. So we have action session items 4.1 through 4.32. At this time, I'll ask if there are any items that board members wish to pull for separate consideration, or questions or comments. Going once, going twice. All right, hearing none. What I will ask for then is a motion and a second to approve our action session items in their totality. We'll go motion, Board Member Ibarra, second Board Member Fuentes. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, they are approved unanimously. Thank you for that. All right. Our administrative reports, are there any questions with respect to items 5.1 through 5.2? These are approved disbursements or the approved change orders as listed on the agenda. There are no questions, then we'll go ahead and move on to our updates. I do not believe we have a facility update tonight, so that'll take us to our ACE update. And I see Mrs. Prachi here from ACE.
Good evening, esteemed board members, Superintendent Miranda, cabinet members, and members of the audience. My name is Christina Poraci, and I have the privilege to serve Association of Colton Educators as a president. So today I'm going to change gears. So the first quarter of the school year 2021 is ending tomorrow. I can't believe it that we already finished 10 weeks. The teachers are busy preparing progress reports and scheduling virtual parent-teacher conferences. I want to thank the certificated staff for the outstanding job and dedication they show every day to CJUSD students. I want to tell everybody that's listening out there, you did it. You have been there for our students, a consistent, calm, caring, and dedicated teacher. The students had a place to go and express their fears in the presence of a supportive counselor or psychologist. Our little ones who have trouble with their speech, like me, found an ear to listen to them in our specialist, the speech pathologist. I do need a speech pathologist for my language. The nurses have been keeping our students safe in so many other ways than they previously did. They made hundreds of phone calls and explained many times why a student is quarantined and what does that mean. The librarians have been there to support the staff with whatever was needed, and they've seen so many Chromebooks come to the library and packed and prepared so many of them that if they don't see one, it's not ever again, it's probably not soon enough. Our TOAs and CPSs have been more in the classroom to support the students than in the previous years. And although they love the interaction and connection to the staff and kids, they need to get back to their jobs to support and provide intensive instructions. Just an update on where the negotiations are. ACE and district are negotiating long-term independent study and short-term independent study or quarantine. We are also at the table negotiating a calendar for 2022, 2023, and potentially 2023, 2024. This year, the entire contract will be opened, and we are planning to bring the sunshine on October 21st and November 4th, and hopefully begin negotiations in December. Our goal is to be done negotiating before the end of the school year. We are requesting to set up weekly meetings for negotiation and, if possible, reserve a full day. Board members, cabinet, and everybody in the district office, we thank you for all your support and for your willingness to listen and solve problems together with ACE. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Prachi. We appreciate that. Next is our CSE update. Do we have a member representative from CSEA? Okay. If not, we'll go ahead and ask if there is an update from MAC. No MAC update? Okay, takes us to ROP. So board members Haro or Mr. Ibarra.
Okay, we do not have a ROP update because we're scheduled for a meeting next week. But I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Min Gonzalez, who is here from CRIWAP, the Assistant Soup to Business. And just want to say welcome and get to see you today. You're welcome.
All right, thank you for that. So we'll look for an update then our next meeting.
Yes.
Great. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. Okay, this takes us to our superintendent's communique, Dr. Miranda.
Good evening. Thank you, Board President Flores, board members, and members of the audience. Tonight, I want to start off with another special board meeting request from the board. So staff, myself, we're requesting the board to give us permission to hold another special board meeting. Again, we want to obtain direction from the board. We just had one on Tuesday. So we want to get additional direction and provide the board with more updates in regards to the project that's happening in Bloomington. So staff, we continue to have discussions about the progress there, about the project, and of course, the mitigation measures that we are looking at and along the way, and of course, we'd like to get some direction on that. So as you see there on the board, and we are looking early November. So at this time, so that gives us staff enough time to prepare for this. So we're looking at the following dates: Tuesday, November 2nd, Wednesday, November 3rd, and then Monday, November 8th. So
Okay. All right. So we have 3 dates that are being proposed in the first part of November. I'll simply add Tuesday, the 2nd works probably the best for me, although I think I can make Wednesday work as well. But are there any dates that absolutely do not work for board members?
It would be difficult for me to be here on a Monday or Wednesday. Tuesday is best.
Tuesday works better for you as well? Tuesday? Tuesday's typically what we strive for if we can. Okay. Seen a lot of nodding head, Mr. Fuentes, as well? Okay. So it sounds like Tuesday, which would be, there you go. Why not? Kind of like this week, right? Might as well throw 'em. Yeah, we'll do Tuesday, November 2nd then.
and
at
5:30.
5:30
start.
here, and it's a closed session item, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That's correct. It'll be a closed session item discussion.
Okay. All right. I think we have a date, Dr. Moreno.
Okay, thank you. Noted. And so we will prepare. Where's Mr. Chang at? Director Chang? We got November 2nd, Tuesday, November 2nd at 5:30. Thank you. And, okay, so just wanted to highlight the progress, even though we don't have a facilities update tonight, the Colton High School multi-purpose room. It's well underway. I know many of the board members have visited Colton High School already. In the multi-purpose room, just recently on Tuesday, had an opportunity to go out there with Mr. Ibarra and Ms. Sandoval. And of course, I've been out there with Ms. Thorne Ojeda and Ms. Adeguin and many of the board members already. So it's, again, I just want to remind the audience and folks out there that the board, when we passed the bond, the Measure G, a lot of the funds are being used for that purpose. Speaking of that, we've also had members of the bond oversight committee participate in walkthroughs and site visits, so they're really also happy with the progress. It's a beautiful building, and it's just a great addition to Colton High School. I know that we have several graduates here, alumni who have been out there, and it's just a beautiful. When you go inside, it's amazing. It's large, great windows. I think it's going to be just another beautiful opportunity for our students and staff to use for not only for lunch, for a bunch of other activities. And so so staff, so you're probably asking about the red cutting event. So staff, including Ms. Orloff, Mr. Shang, they are working and coordinating a ribbon cutting event that complies with the current COVID-19 restrictions. So we got to make sure that we're covering that. We're going to keep the board posted on this future event. And lastly, I'll mention that we want to extend a special thanks to our awesome facilities department. Director Chain gets a lot of the credit in his leadership to ensure that not only it's the progress, but stays as under budget or close to budget as possible. So we're grateful for that, and the staff and obviously the staff at the school site, nutrition services who participated in the design aspect. So we're just grateful and thankful. I'll just add too that next to it, the culinary building, that's another project that's being worked on to complement the NPR room. So just exciting events here for the NPR room at Colton High School. And so if anybody's wondering what that big building's doing out there, it's going to be just there to serve kids, and they're going to love it. And okay, so anyway, so my last Slide tonight is on CJUSD Cares. I'll tell you, when I see our students graduate, that's what we do here. When we see our students walk across and get their diplomas, and you see the ending of their careers here at Colton High School, that's what it's all about. So I'd like to extend a big congratulations to all our summer graduates, the adult graduates. It was just an awesome event at Grand Terrace High School. Last week, we had 69 summer grads and 31 adult grads graduate with their high school diplomas. What an accomplishment. And I just want to applaud them and congratulate them, not giving up, because many of them could have given up and said, I'm done. But it's such a big step in their careers and their lives. And so just congratulations for that accomplishment. It's huge, and we just wish them the best in their future endeavors, whatever that may be. And so, again, on behalf of the Board of Education, Executive Cabinet, congratulations to all of you. And sincerely, we're going to wish you the best in your next chapter, and don't forget about us. So with that, Board President, I'll turn it right back over to you.
Sorry, sir, this is not the time for public comment or questions. We're happy. Okay, so valid question. What I'm going to suggest is when our meeting finishes, because we're getting towards the end of it, I'll make sure that we have one of our administrators touch bases with you on that. And not that we don't want to hear a question, just procedurally under the Brown Act and all the rules about how meetings go. We're not allowed to respond, and there's certain times for things, but we'll make sure that Dr. Miranda or one of the members of cabinet connect with you. No, it's more procedure than anything, but it's a valid question. Yep, absolutely. Okay. All right. This takes us to board member comments. So we'll begin this evening with board member Thorian Ojeda.
I will say it's different being back. Boys and girls went through returning to school several weeks ago, and tonight being my first night back in public for meetings, it's been interesting. I want to give a great big thank you to all of the staff who have met the needs of our kids coming back after a long time away and being sensitive to their needs and helping us get through the hiccups that we've had. A lot of people here who really do care about our children and are providing a great atmosphere and environment for them, and work on improving that each and every day, and I appreciate it. It is good to be back. It's nice to see friendly faces, part of it anyway, and I really appreciate people who are being very respectful of our mandates for those, especially who are being immunocompromised. It's real important to think of everyone. So thank you very much, and I look forward to things getting better and better with our pandemic as the year goes on. Thank you.
Thank you, board member Thorian Ojeda. Next is board member Ibarra.
Thank you, Dan. I'd like to begin by thanking Director Chang and Dr. Miranda for the tour of Colt High School's multi-purpose room, together with Ms. Sandoval. It was a really good tour, and saw the opportunity, what could possibly come out of that particular multi-purpose room is a multitude of events, conferences, meetings, along with the intended purpose of having that as a cafeteria, etc. And also the idea of our old cafeteria there for our students. And I think that if that's something that we can develop and maybe even work together with Cry Rock, I think that we could actually put a top-notch program for our students as they move out into the community after graduation. So the possibilities is incredible, and I just want to thank both of you for the wonderful tour. So thank you for that. Also want to thank the coaches and the team of the cross country at Cone High School. They had an excellent car wash a couple of weeks ago. Want to take the opportunity to thank all the community members. I know Israel showed up. Dr. Dr. Gonzalez showed up. You know, I was there. A lot of people were getting their car washed. They made several thousands of dollars. And definitely the community supports that cross country team 100%. So just want to mention that it was an excellent event. And then I just want to add with this comment. Within the last 2 weeks, I had 2 coworkers lose family members due to COVID. I had a colleague that has her office right next to me. She lost her brother, and he was 38 years old. And I was the first person she came when she heard of what was happening. And this morning, I heard another colleague lost her son, 29-year-old, healthy individual, to COVID as well. The reason I'm bringing this up is that I just want to make sure that everyone continues to be vigilant, be careful, take safety precautions, and not take things for granted. Because as I talk to these 2 individuals, their family members have no idea how they have received it. And it's because family members, friends from my family, we've lost already 3. And the family, you know, tell me that they just have no idea. They were very cautious. They went out minimally, etc. So I just wanted to bring this up because, you know, number one, I truly believe in the phrase that Cone George Unified School District cares. And, you know, anyone who goes out and actually doesn't believe that, you know, it really doesn't know all the individuals that are part of this district and what we strive for. And so I just want to make sure that we continue to be vigilant. We continue to work hard at keeping ourselves, our family, those we work around, our students as safe as we possibly can, because I think that's important. You know, someone once told me that you really don't know until it affects people near you. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, though they're colleagues but family members, I've been affected in that way. So that's just a quick message that I just want to share with everybody. So thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barr. Our next board member is Ms. Aregin.
Thank you. Yes, I just want to thank Dr. Peterson for the information that her department provided for us regarding the diagnostic assessments that are used in our schools. And, you know, and I want to say that because these diagnostics assessments are extremely important to let us know where our students are today. It's also extremely important for our teachers because this is what teachers use to inform their instruction or to you know, guide their instruction for the next week, the next day, the next week, the next month. Also the teachers I know use these assessments to have conversations with their administrators and with their colleagues to see, okay, you know, this is where we're doing good, this is where we need help, this is where our students are lacking. So thank you for that. As a follow-up, I would like to request that the board is provided with some information as to how our students are doing as far as, interpreting those assessments. I know we have iReady at the elementary level that gives us a true picture of where our kids are. I think it's in English and math, and also for our little ones, first grade, that they use the Dibbles, and that helps the teachers know are in their reading fluency. I know at the secondary level, MAPS assessments are being used, and they're just now wrapping it up. So if it's okay, and I would like to know if we can, as a board, receive some type of report or information as to where our kids are, how they're doing. And to add to that is what interventions are being put in place to address these needs, whether it's, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, just to give us an idea as a board, how we're moving forward from this point. So I would really appreciate that if possible. So thank you.
Not a problem. And I see Dr. Miranda acknowledged that, and certainly that's the type of information we should be receiving. In fact, historically, we've gotten that information in times in a presentation, obviously. So, thank you. Next speaker, or next board member is Board Member Fuentes.
Thank you, Board President. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to the teachers. I want a big shout out for them for all the hard work that they're doing out in our classrooms, teaching our students, making them feel comfortable in class while they're there with them. Also wanted to say thank you to our safety. Always a big heart. You guys know that I'm a former law enforcement. And so to our safety, all of our patrol guys that are out there every evening, they see things and they act quick. I know we had an incident earlier this couple of weeks ago, and they worked on it real quick, and we did recover some of our property that was taken. So shout out to them for that. That's awesome, and I appreciate all their hard work. To all of our custodians, to all of our M&O, big shout out to you guys also for all the hard work you guys are doing also. Appreciate the gentleman that's here currently with us. I don't recall. Michael, thank you for being here. Michael's out here this evening, and he's making sure everything's sanitized and clean so that when the next person comes up, they're safe. Just a big shout out to our nutrition, all of our nutrition people out there that are serving lunches and making lunches and preparing all that the food for our kids. I want a big shout out for them also. And we usually forget about transportation, and I want a big shout out to them also. Transportation, they pick up our kids in the morning, pick them up from school, drop them off at home safely. Big shout out to them, and to our warehouse team out there. I know Joanne is listening. Hopefully she's listening. Baez, right? Baeza. So I want her to, a big shout out to her team and stuff, because I know they do a lot. I know that sometimes it's hard not having all that room, but she makes it work. So big shout out to all of them and to all of our principals. And if I forget something, it's not because I don't remember, but big shout out to everyone at Colton Joint Unified School District. Also wanted to highlight a couple things. Wednesday, I was at the DLAC meeting. We had 126 parents online virtually, which is exciting to see. 126 parents were online virtually. They were asking great questions. I want to thank Mr. Diaz and Mrs. Alejandra de la Torre for all their hard work and keeping all of our DLAC parents informed. Even if you're not part of the DLAC, you're always welcome to join. If you're listening to us this evening, you're always welcome to join our DLAC meetings. There's many committees out there. We have DPAC, we have the African American council also. So we have a school site council at your local school, ELACs at your local schools. If you want information, that's the place to go. That's the place to go. But I was excited to see 126 parents virtually online asking all these awesome questions. So thank you to Mr. Diaz and Ms. Alejandra de la Torre and their team for providing all that information in the translation too. Also wanted a big shout out to our football teams. I know our football teams at Colton High School, Grand Terrace High School, at Bloomington High School. You guys You guys are working hard. I know to our coaches, big shout out to you guys. I know you guys are working hard. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but it's all about working as a team and making things happen. So that's I was out at the Bloomington High School homecoming football game. They didn't win, but something, those guys were working as a team. It was a phenomenal game. So I was excited to be there. I was excited to see the guys. I was excited to see the coaches kind of pumping up the guys, telling them they can do it, and so it was exciting to see that. Also, wanted to share, we have this new tutoring program called Paper, and I want you to take advantage of it. If you do have a student that needs some help, is struggling, this is the opportunity to take advantage of this. Paper is 24/7, if I'm correct, something like that. It's a 24/7 program that the district has brought. We approved it, and I think it's an opportunity for our students that need that additional help to take advantage. For our dual immersion students, they get help through Paper also. So if they speak two languages, English or Spanish, they're getting the help. So take advantage, parents, take advantage of this great opportunity for you and your child. We as a board want your children to succeed. Like Dr. Miranda said, during the summer graduation, I was present that day. To see the amount of students and the amount of adults that graduated was exciting. They didn't give up, and they got their high school diploma. So this is the opportunity for your children to get that extra additional help. Paper, take advantage of it. Go to our website, and you will find the link to that and the information on how to get contacted on that. And remember, our website is in Spanish and English also. So there's a little icon on there. You can change it to Spanish, and it will get you in Spanish. Also wanted to say thank you to our executive cabinet for all their hard work too. A lot of times we forget who's behind the scenes, and these guys and ladies do a great, awesome job. When they come to us and they share their ideas, they share all the stuff that they have for the children, and we look at it and we talk about it. It's exciting. It's very exciting to see all the stuff that's coming to our, like Mr. Ibarra said, CJUSD cares. Yes, we do. We do care very much for every single one of our students. We want our students to succeed. We do have students that have returned to our district to be counselors, to be teachers, to be coaches. And so that just says a lot about our district. So thank you once again. And I think that's all I have this evening. God bless everyone, and stay safe out there, and make sure to take advantage of all the opportunities our district has for your children. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Fuentes. Board Member Sandoval.
No comment, thank you.
Okay. Board Member Harrell.
I guess tonight was that we were at Colton High School as our student showcase. It was a wonderful showcase, and I want to continue to shout out for Colton High School. I'm really have he was honored by the mayor and the city council. 11th grade student Hector Medina. He was walking home from school and saw a female student being followed by a car. And so rather than just walk away like most people would do, he walked up to her and walked with her. And when he saw adults with Colton High School clothing on, he told them about it, and he also called 911 on his phone. He was honored by the police for his heroism, and I think that this board needs to also do something to honor that student. And this happened in August, and nothing has been done by this board. So I really think that as a board, we need to present him with a certificate of appreciation, something to show what he did was quite courageous. I'd also like to give a shout out to teacher Jeremiah Dollins at Colton High School. Jeremiah has worn many different hats at Colton High School. This year he is the teacher and advisor for the Pepper Bell. And, you know, in all the years being on the board, and Mr. Ibarra as well, and Mr. Flores, you know, we've never been invited to follow the Pepper Bell. And they're on social media. They've invited all the board members to follow them. They've invited the city council to follow them, community members. They are doing stories about teachers. They're doing stories about administrators. They did a story on Hector Medina. They do movie reviews. They do so many amazing stories, and they are putting these stories out to the community, so much so that the community is completely behind what these kids are doing and taking out ads in their newspaper now and supporting this completely. And I just think what he is doing for the Pepper Bell, I mean, as long as it's been around, I've never ever seen a following like he has gotten for these kids. So I just wanted to give a shout out to him and to his staff and the kids that he has writing these stories. And he has really lit a fire under these kids to want to pursue a career in writing. I mean, and we know, heaven knows, we need more kids reading and writing, and this is the way to do it, by giving them a reason to do it. I also want to honor our teachers. This last Tuesday was International Teachers Day, and I think it's very important that we always honor our teachers, but especially on those days. Our teachers thought last year was hard with distance learning, but we didn't know what hard was until this year, because with, you know, COVID not being gone and shields and all these different things that they're having to deal with, masks and kids not being able to hear them and all the difficulties that they're facing. I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned about International Teachers Day. The other part of that, though, is that the regular things that they face on a daily basis are things that, you know, we have some control over and others we don't. But we're 10 weeks into school, as Ms. Parachi said, and we still have multiple complaints in school. Cooley Ranch, Cherokee, Bloomington, McKinley, Ritchie Canyon, Colton High School, Crestmore. These schools are still having problems. I know M&O is working on it, but you know, we're still having problems with critters. We're still having air conditioning, and yeah, the weather's changing, but we all know California weather is psychotic, and it's 70 degrees today and 100 degrees tomorrow. So these are things we need to keep pushing, because these teachers deserve it, and more importantly, our students deserve it. Communication continues to be a problem. And I just want to mention one thing about communication, is last night I went to the Bloomington High School choir concert, but oops, there was no choir concert. No big deal, it's not that far from my house. But the problem is their concerts are done in segments. They do their beginning concert in October, and then in December they do the Christmas concert, and then in the spring they do the spring concert. They actually have two in the spring. It's the same every year. This year they were told they couldn't, they had them all, they always schedule them ahead of time the year before for those dates. They were told they could not do the October concert in October because we were remodeling the auditorium. We were going to redo it. We didn't remodel it, obviously. We haven't done that yet. We're rebidding it, and it hasn't. Okay, so we've had plenty of time and knowledge to know that that remodel wasn't going to happen in October, but nobody told the school so that they could either change that date from November back to October. So I would just like to you know, these kids work hard for these things, and we need to make sure that that communication goes both ways, that the schools notify the district. I know Diane Kyes does a great job of sending us our calendars, but she can only work with what she gets. So, but we also have to be cognizant when we knew that the school wasn't going to be worked on at this time. We should have let them know too. So it has to go both ways. So I would appreciate that the communication a little better. My quote this evening is by motivational speaker, and he's wonderful, Hal Bowman. In the best schools, everyone in every position is a teacher. There are dozens of job titles, but they all share the same role: to change a kid's life. I believe that this board is cognizant of that, and we all want to participate in changing a child's life. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Haro. I'll just add a little bit to I wasn't going to say much. I don't have much to say other than, of course, I'm so appreciative of all the hard work that everybody has done. This has been a year unlike any other. But a note on the Pepper Bow, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because Mr. Dollins is a protege of Mr. David Rainey, who had Pepper Bow for many years, and was the advisor when I was there, and I wrote for the Pepper Bow. And there was a point in time where, when I was a senior, I came before this board to protest the banning of a book, but that's a whole other subject. You weren't quite here at the time, or were you? Okay. So Frank remembers that. But Mr. Dollins has a student, a senior, Miss Sadie Larios, who is an outstanding journalist. Yes, and that was the connection. So thank you for doing that. She wrote a story on homelessness that literally won her an award. She won an award for it, and it touched upon Kenny, who some of you might know. Kenny is the gentleman who sells newspapers. If you've been to Colton High at any point in time, you've seen Kenny on the corner of Valley and Rancho selling the Sun newspaper. He's done that for literally years, decades, really. Long story short, Kenny lost his home. He became homeless. Turns out he was a veteran, and through a series of events, we were able to help. I played a small role in it, but we were able to get agencies together, find him housing, a new apartment. He was offered supportive housing because he was a veteran and eligible. So Kenny was the sort of the star of that story, but it evolved into a larger conversation about homelessness. She's doing a series of articles. She visited our site here last week, or I think earlier this week actually, with Mr. Dollins. So some amazing things are happening throughout the district and at Colton High. So I won't steal her thunder. I'm sure the article is going to be coming out soon, but it is an example of how even the young folks in our school district are having an impact in the community, and to challenge them to really express themselves in creative and profound ways. So I'm proud of that, and proud of all the students that we have. We have stories like that throughout this district that, you're right, unfortunately we don't hear about all the time, but they are happening. So whenever we can share those stories, tout those stories, please do. It's something worth sharing. With that, I don't have anything else to add. I want to thank everybody again for being here. I know this is the first time really we're all here for a regular meeting, and I want to be cognizant of the time because we do have closed session. So at this time, we will adjourn into closed session.
There it goes.
Oh, there we go. Great. All right, we'll call this meeting back to order here in open session. Thank you, Shane, for that. We do have a student discipline item that requires action from the board. There was one student discipline item presented in closed session. Is there a motion to pull the expulsion order as presented?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Board Member Fuentes, a second by Board Member Haro. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. The item is approved unanimously. Item 9.2. On a motion by Board Member Fuentes and seconded by Board Member Adeguin, the board approved on a 7-0 vote, approved the appointments as presented in closed session. And again, that was 7-0. Our last item, item 9.3. On a motion by Board Member Fuentes and seconded by Board Member Ibarra and carried on a 7-0 vote, the board approved the superintendent's 2021 evaluation as presented. And that is all that we have for reporting out. So we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thanks.